and I stumbled upon the live address of Erika Kirk. I didn't know she was about to speak. I watched it on YouTube. It was 15 minutes. Erika Kirk is the widow of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was murdered on Wednesday. It seemed like forever ago, but he was shot and killed by a single bullet while addressing 3,000 people in Utah at a college. The suspect turned himself in. No thanks to Kash Patel and the Keystone Cops right now in the FBI. That's why maybe we need, competent people instead of shit posters who host podcasts and promote conspiracy theories. But I digress. Thankfully, Tyler Robinson's family turned him in. They're saying it was his father, who was an ex-sheriff. Tyler Robinson is a white man. Tyler Robinson is 22 years old, a man, cisgender, straight. Tyler Robinson is a gun enthusiast. Tyler Robinson comes from a Republican Trump voting family, much like the man who tried to shoot and kill Donald Trump. Another young white man, radicalized online, gun lover from a Trump voting family. The governor of Utah had to admit that was, quote, one of us. The governor of Utah, in a very strange address, had wished and prayed there was someone else, someone from the outside, an immigrant. But nope, not an immigrant, not a person of color, and not a transgendered person. Sorry, Nancy Mace. It was allegedly a young white man. And based upon the evidence that we have right now, it seems clearly that he was influenced by the Groper movement. I've done several videos today. For those who don't know, the Groper Army is this online army that is radicalized and led by a white nationalist and Hitler aficionado, Nick Fuentes, who dined with Donald Trump 2 years ago, also is pals with Marjorie Taylor Greene in their conferences. Marjorie Taylor Greene has spoken, so has Paul Gosar. They are nativists. They are America First. They're anti-immigration. They hated Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk, a man who in his entire life has been extremely right-wing, I'll bring the receipts, was not right-wing enough for Nick Fuentes and Gropers. That's why they called him a sellout, a traitor, a globalist. They mocked him for being a hack who was groomed by right-wing billionaires and the elite. They mocked him for being pro-Israel. They said he wasn't pro-America first enough. He wasn't pro-white enough. So several years ago, Nick Fuentes, essentially, he made his bones in the conservative movement by actually harassing and trolling Charlie Kirk and the Turning Point USA folks. Turning Point is his organization that he started in 2012 to help go radicalize young people, to radicalize them and direct them to bully and target the most marginalized people on earth, immigrants, people of color, women, and especially LGBTQ people, also Muslims, and on and on and on. So I just want people to know that Charlie Kirk was not right enough for Nick Fuentes and the Gropers. All right. What we're finding out right now is it seems pretty clear, based on the evidence, that this shooter, this alleged suspect, was in part radicalized online. A lot of his friends are saying he was perpetually online video gamer, and much of the engravings on the bullets, Bella Ciao, notice bulges. If you're reading this, you're gay. Laugh my ass off. A few others of these, the Hell Driver 2 code of the arrows. These are all phrases associated within the Groper movement. Now, Nick Fuentes, the leader of the Groper movement, is on right now, and he has said to all my followers, if you take up arms, I disavow you. I disown you. In the strongest possible terms, this is not what we're about. Even Gropers think it's a Groper who did it. The leader of the Gropers is saying that. On 4chan today, after all this came out, I do sleep. I don't want to do this, but I have to say this right now. I'll tell you why. I'll try to connect the dots. Gropers on 4chan, this swamp of the internet where they congregate, they said, "Oh shit, it looks like one of us." So Tyler Robinson, again, we'll find out more, but so far what we know is he ain't an immigrant, he ain't brown, he ain't Muslim, he ain't transgender. Sorry, Nancy Mace. Sorry, Don Jr. He doesn't come from a leftist family, and the right wing is so shameless. These are the most shameless. No other political group is as shameless as MAGA in the world. They, instead of confronting the fact that, oh my God, we spent the past 2.5 days deliberately inciting hate against the left, There are death threats against the left. Black colleges had to shut down for a day or two because of death threats to historically black colleges. They have compiled a list to dox people, anyone who's critical of Charlie Kirk. The State Department threatened to revoke the visas of immigrants who mock Charlie Kirk. I'm not making this up. Pete Hegseth is asking people to find people in armed forces who are making fun of Charlie Kirk. So much for free speech, right? Free speech for me, none for thee. Civility for me, cruelty for thee. Safe spaces for me, violence for thee, right? So these free speech warriors, right? As this is happening, all of them, the entirety of the right wing, Donald Trump, MAGA, Laura Ingraham, Fox News, right wing libs of TikTok, without any evidence and without any suspects, they blame the left. Today in the morning, after it was revealed that it was a white guy from a conservative Republican family, Donald Trump said, I don't care. The radical left are different from the right. The people who incited the violent insurrection, Trumpers. The people who beat up Capitol Hill cops, Trumpers. The people who mocked and ridiculed those cops who defended these Republicans, Trumpers. Laura Ingraham called them crisis actors. Donald Trump, he was almost shot and killed by a Trumper, a white guy. He wore the diaper on his ear. He went to the RNC, remember that? With the diaper on his ear. And then he mocked and ridiculed Paul Pelosi, who was almost hammered to death by a Trumper. To this day, MAGA promotes the hateful line conspiracy that it was Paul Pelosi's gay lover. And so Donald Trump, you remember, when he had the diaper on, he made that joke. Don Jr. made the joke. When it came to Melissa Hortman, state representative of Minnesota, she was killed. Her husband was killed. Her dog were killed. Two other, a representative and his wife were injured. The killer, Vance Bolter, Trumper, okay? And Mike Lee, the tragic irony, the senator of Utah, very Christian, mocked Governor Walz. Massacre on Wall Street, right? Did 2 Twitter posts, never apologized. And to this day, Donald Trump has never called Melissa Hortman, said, I'm not going to get around to it, I'm not going to do it, and didn't call. These people, these shameless hypocrites, these people with weak knees and weak jaws, these people who project, these people who demand civility but give cruelty, these people who have literally incited violence against anyone who criticized Charlie Kirk. Wired has an example. It did 2 articles. They compiled all the MAGA folks who are saying the word war, now it's the time, civil war, right? These are the language they were using, and it has resulted in threats and doxing against black colleges, right? Against teachers, against anyone in armed forces, against immigrants, right? These are the people now, mouse farts when it comes to Gropers. The lead Groper, Nick Fuentes, seems to acknowledge that it was a Groper. A cat turd of all people has come out and said, look, it's the Gropers, looking at Nick Fuentes. But I want to read you what Stephen Miller, the white nationalist budget Goebbels, said today. The last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me. We're going to do that. Sure, Jan. Sure. No mention of Gropers. No proof whatsoever that this alleged shooter was from a radical left organization. The right is so desperate and so pathetic, folks. I have to follow this so you don't. That they're saying, shit, how do we spin? They're spinning. They're spinning so much that they have freaking a hole in the earth right now. They have so many, they're pivoting so hard that they have whiplash, right? They're doing somersaults, 180s. They're saying, he went to college. Tyler Robinson got radicalized by the leftists and woke in college. Yeah, 1 semester in a conservative Utah community college, and then he left. Then they said, a Guardian article. A friend of his said that he was more left than anyone else in his family. And what they failed to mention later on in the article is that same friend said, yeah, I haven't talked to him for years. And his grandmother said, my entire family, Tyler Robinson's grandmother said in the Daily Beast, the entire family are Trumpers, right? So he's not an immigrant, not black, not brown, not Muslim, not transgender. Seems clearly he was inspired by the Gropers, and I'm not going to go into it because I did a whole bunch of videos today. I broke down what the Gropers are, how they radicalize, the engravings on the bullet cases, what they mean. Go check it out, right? Even the lead Groper, Nick Fuentes, just a totally normal thing to say, is telling all of his followers, to all my followers, if you take up arms, I disavow you. Huh. Totally normal thing to say. Now, as this is happening, tonight, Charlie Kirk's widow, uh, Erika Kirk, did an address. I just decided to watch it. For those of you who have seen me, and I have all the receipts, unlike MAGA, I'm consistent. I denounce political violence and terrorism regardless of who does it. Hamas's terrorism, October 7th, denounced it. Israel's war crimes, I denounce and condemn it. Before I even knew who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, you got me on record. I condemn it. Even with Donald Trump, before we knew who did it, and by the way, they still tried to promote the left before they realized it was a white Trumper. Remember that? I condemned it. I'm very consistent. So I condemn Charlie Kirk's murder. I condemn political violence. It is terrible for this country, a country of more than 400 million guns, more guns than people. Okay? Republicans and MAGA, they are not really ones to be consistent. When it's their team or their guy, they obfuscate or they lie. Or right now, they just straight up try to gaslight you. Literally tonight, they're saying they. They keep saying they. No, we know the person. The alleged suspect is Tyler Robinson. They're saying they will see. You mean the Gropers? Huh? Gropers? Stephen Miller said the radical left. He wasn't radical left. There's no proof that he was radical left. If anything, the only proof that we have so far is he was influenced by Gropers, and he came from a right-wing conservative Trumper family. They're doubling down on this, right? They're trying so hard because they know their base will believe anything. Their base also believes that Donald Trump won the 2020 election that he lost. 80% of Republican voters believe the big lie that Donald Trump won the election that he lost, all right? So they know this works for their base. However, we ain't the base. We're the majority. So with all of this, I see Erika Kirk's 15-minute talk. She's a widower. And I'm assuming, okay, she's probably going to talk about her husband and her children and mourn and, bring people together. I will stand by what I said. And I will tell you what I tweeted that right now has been sent across MAGA, and they're all coordinating this hit piece on me. And I know how they work, and what they try to do is focus on one person, and they bully and they shame, and then all corporate institutions get terrified, like MSNBC, and they bend the knee, and they do what? They fire Matthew Dowd, who was absolutely correct, right? They go after organizations. Look at James Gunn. Look what he said. And Disney fired James Gunn, right? Again and again. You've seen this again, multiple examples. But let's just use Matthew Dowd, for example. So every single corporation bends the knee to bad faith right-wing grievances and outrage. All of them. Media does it. Corporations do it. You just saw MSNBC do it. And I know another person who was fired, and I hope they announce what happened to them is disgusting on Monday. Okay, I don't play that game. I believe in reciprocity. I don't play a Charlie Brown's game with Lucy where she says, hey, Charlie Brown, let's play football. And she goes, okay, Lucy, you're not going to lift up the football? And she goes, he, no, I won't. And then he runs. And what does she do? She lifts up the football and Charlie Brown falls on its house. Charlie Brown is America, corporate America, Democrats, power, and everyone else. I don't play that game. I believe in reciprocity. When they go low, we go high. Nope, I take them out by their knees, which is a legal UFC move. So I know how they are. Shaming, bullying, bad faith hypocrisy. So I watched this Erika Kirk 15-minute video. I recommend you all see it. And this is what I say. This is the thing that's really pissed them off. Because I'm watching it, and I'm getting all my tweets that I said. Erika Kirk, this is my quote. Erika Kirk is using her husband's death to promote Kirk's vehicle of hate, Turning Points USA. Fascinating to watch this right now. End quote. This is what has pissed off the people who support King and Daddy Trump, who mocks and ridicules the Capitol Hill police officers, Melissa Hortman, Paul Pelosi, ridicules women, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, press, and everyone else. This is what has angered them. How dare you? Have you no shame? And then some corporate writers, even a few lefties and establishment people, tut, wajahat. How dare you say that? And I'm like, did you see the whole video? Because I did. That's what led to Ezra Klein in the New York Times writing this bullshit. Charlie Kirk was practicing politics the right way. That's what led to all these hagiographies, the sanitization of Charlie Kirk, because we can't piss off the right wing. That's all this is, folks. We can't piss off MAGA, even though we know they're bad faith. But always affirmative action for conservatives. We always bend the knee to their bad faith bullshit. I do not. And I'm independent. So anyone wants to fire me, y'all fire me. If I lose gigs for this, go ahead. I've been broke before. Allah's taken care of me. Inshallah, Allah will take care of me again. This is why Matthew Dowd was fired for literally saying the truth. I got Matthew Dowd's quote right here. This is what he said. It was real time when they found out that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or a sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that this environment we're in, and you can't stop with the sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place. And that's the unfortunate environment we're in. They fired him for that. And for the last 2.5 days, the right wing, led by Donald Trump, without any evidence, blamed transgender people and the left. And the shooter, who turned himself in, no thanks to friggin' the Keystone one-eyed cop Kash Patel, is Tyler Robinson, who comes from a Trumper conservative pro-Second Amendment family. And from the evidence so far, seems like he was a Groper, which is why Nick Fuentes is sweating right now and condemning violence. Okay. Folks, so I said that. Watching her video, because watching her video, I'm going to tell you straight up, she can grieve any way she wants. I do not mock her for her grieving. She's a widow. She's a mom. But that was a 15-minute strange type of infomercial for Turning Point USA. Go and watch it and let me know what you think. So all I said yet again was Erika Kirk is using her husband's death to promote Kirk's vehicle of hate, Turning Points USA. Fascinating to watch this right now. She also then promoted Christian nationalism. I know because I follow these people. So she said, the battle is not just a political one. I'm quoting her. Their battle is not just a political one, but it is spiritual. Spiritual warfare, end quote. So watching her, I commented, that's hella weird. And that's a bit disturbing. Then she also said, quote, and this is, again, 2 days of the right wing ginning up threats, hate, and violence against the left, resulting in death threats, black colleges shutting down, and doxing. She said this, I'm quoting her. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just unleashed across this entire country. As I was hearing that, I responded in real time and said, well, does that include the Gropers? Because so far, what we know, it was a white man who was influenced by the Gropers. I will really want to hear an answer to that question. Again, she said, the evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they've done. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just unleashed across the entire country. A few people online were like, that sounds slightly threatening and disturbing. This is Erika Kirk in her 15-minute address, which I said, and I stand by, was very weird, very strange, very disturbing. If this is how she mourns, she has every right to mourn this way. And I have every right to comment as a commentator to say, that was very strange. Okay, what she also said, to everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever. End quote. Okay. She has every right to say that. I have every right to say that was very weird. The whole nation is watching, and I felt like she did an infomercial for what I stand by my words, a hate group, Turning Point USA. I also caught all those Christian nationalist strays there, and I strongly recommend everyone listening to it. And I go back to what I said, which has completely riled up all of MAGA, and they've unleashed everything against me right now to use me as an example so the rest of you stay quiet. That's why I'm speaking out. They're using me as an example so the rest of you stay quiet. I have tough skin. I've been in this game for a long time. This isn't for everyone. They're trying to intimidate me, bully me, and through intimidating, bullying me, they want everyone else to shut up. And I say no. I said, for those who are joining us late, Erika Kirk is using her husband's death to promote Kirk's vehicle of hate, Turning Points USA. Fascinating to watch this right now. I stand by my tweets. I stand by my comments. And folks, what did I want to say? Yeah. This type of stuff is kind of weird, man. It's kind of weird. And these people who are feigning outrage and trying to shame me and saying she's a widower and how dare you and you're a ghoul and this and that. I'm like, she can mourn. That's fine. I'm not gonna mock her for mourning. I condemn the murder. I can imagine it's very problematic, but she chose to use her platform in this moment, knowing full well what Donald Trump has done, to go say this for 15 minutes to the nation. I have a right to comment. She also said, my husband loved Donald Trump and Donald Trump was a true friend. And then, she stopped and said, Donald Trump, she cried. I want to find right now what Donald Trump said about when asked about the loss of his friend. I want to find that tweet. You all know that tweet? Hold on one second. I'm going to get it for you. I got all this. Just give me a second. I'm doing it in real time. I'm my own, if you will, producer, because she praised Donald Trump and she said he's such a good friend and Charlie Kirk loved him. The type of friend that Donald Trump is. I'm going to get his own words. Just stick with me, y'all. Stick with me. Stick with me. Be patient. Gosh, I'm seeing all my tweets. I saw the tweet where Nancy Mace blamed transgender folks, and then all of a sudden, when I found out that the killer, the suspected killer, was Tyler Robinson, right? That Nancy Mace, I'm going to double down. It was a tranny. It was transgender. It's the left. You all know what she said today. We know Charlie Kirk would want us to pray for such an evil and lost individual like Tyler Robinson to find Jesus Christ. We will try to do the same. Okay, so if it's a white guy, Nancy Mace will pray for him and try to seek absolution for him. But if it was the rest of us, yeah. Okay, I found it. Earlier today, a reporter asked Donald Trump, my condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. How are you holding up? That's the exact quote. This is what Donald Trump said. I think very good. And by the way, you see all the trucks? They just started construction on the new ballroom for the White House. And then you saw him dancing at the game, right? With friends like these, folks, with friends like these. So to me, she has every right to mourn the way she wants. I condemn the murder. But then being public like this, because this is now forced onto the rest of us. New York Yankees took a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Commanders took a silence for Charlie Kirk. Flags flown in half-mast for Charlie Kirk. Article after article sanitizing his life for Charlie Kirk. We were told you can't criticize Charlie Kirk. His body was flown with J.D. Vance, right? I think we have a right to respond. And so she went on for 15 minutes and said all this. And my response is that was hella weird and strange and disturbing. And I don't know. I've never seen anyone use such a tragedy and a murder to do an infomercial for a hate group, Turning Point USA, but she did. And she also then promoted Christian nationalism. And she also then said some kind of threatening things about she will go and get those people who did it. She has every right to. But it seems like the people who did it are Gropers. Tyler Robinson seems to be like a Groper, not the left. Gropers, not transgender. So I'm curious, and I asked this question. I'll ask it again. When she said what she said, and I want to quote again for the people who are joining us. When she said, "The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you have just unleashed across this entire country." Does she refer to the Gropers, to Nick Fuentes, who dined with Donald Trump and who is pals with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Or does it just refer to transgender people and the left? You all tell me. You all tell me. Folks, some more stuff is that you cannot shame these people. And just to show you how they are, some of the people who have come after me, one of them is this guy, Torba. Andrew Torba, if you know, is a white nationalist, anti-Semite. And Andrew Torba said, I noticed that you didn't post this one on X. And what I posted on Blue Sky was, Erika Kirk is now using her husband's death to promote MAGA Christian propaganda. Because she did. I just put that on Blue Sky. So he took a photo of that and it said, I noticed that you didn't post this one on X. We don't really care what piece of paper Americans have to say anymore. Let me say that again. Piece of paper Americans. That's what they call all the people who aren't white. piece of paper Americans. You are a guest in our Christian country only for as long as we continue to tolerate you being here. Show some respect. And my simple response was, nah. That's how I responded. Go on Twitter and look at the people tweeting at me. Look at what they're saying. Very Christian, very, very beautiful, very sweet, very kind. Oddly, Ryan Grimm, a reporter at Dropside News, who's been a guest on the show, when I said Erica Kirk is using her husband's death to promote Kirk's vehicle of hate, fascinating to watch this right now. He said, "Get a grip, man. This is depraved." To which I responded, "Did you see the entire video?" Very interesting. Very interesting to see some of the performative outrage done by a lot of our white colleagues. At least it wasn't as bad as Ezra Klein. Charlie Kirk was practicing politics the right way. No, he was not. And I had David Korn on yesterday who wrote a rebuttal to that piece. When it comes to Turning Point USA, folks, this is what I wanted to say. Turning Points USA is a hate group. It is terrible. His wife went on television to promote it, and she said she's going to continue the mission and it's going to grow. Well, then I have a right to call out that mission. That's a mission of hate. That's a mission of bigotry. Charlie Kirk should not have been killed. There's no room for political violence. I condemn his murder. And I also condemn Charlie Kirk for being a hateful piece of crap. A man who used and abused his talents and his life to radicalize young people to hate transgender people, women, black people, immigrants, and bully the most marginalized. He said this openly. He said it with his chest. He was proud of it. He was proud of mocking all these folks. He saw it as a badge of honor. These are some of the things that Charlie Kirk said in his life and promoted through Turning Points USA. Gay people should be stoned to death. The Civil Rights Act was a huge mistake. George Floyd had it coming. He promoted the January 6th insurrectionists. He saw them as heroes. He promotes the white nationalist replacement theory. The replacement theory, which has radicalized people to commit violence and terrorism against black people, Muslims, and Jews. He said no one should be allowed to retire. He said the guy who assaulted Paul Pelosi when Donald Trump was mocking him and Don Jr. was mocking him, he asked his Turning Point cult to actually bail him out. Bail out the guy, the Trumper, who almost hammered Paul Pelosi to death. He said religious freedom should be eliminated. He said there's no separation of church and state. He said black people were better off during slavery. He said he gets nervous when people see black people flying a plane. He said Muslims only come to America to destabilize Western civilizations. He said Palestine doesn't exist and those who support it are like the KKK. So miss me with all the finger wagging that I have to sanitize and whitewash this hate monger's legacy. You can condemn and should condemn his murder and then accurately describe the toxic bigotry that he espoused in his lifetime, the radicalization project that is Turning Points USA, and then ask yourself why a man, and this is just a fraction of the stuff that he said, owned publicly, why, oh why, corporate America, New York Yankees, NFL, NYT, MSNBC, and the entirety of the Republican Party have elevated this man in death more than the Pope, more than Jimmy Carter, more than saints. This is their hero. What does it say about them? So, folks, I just want to talk about that real quick. You're going to see a lot of news items and hits tonight and tomorrow, making an example out of me, the depraved left. Look at these people. Oh, he mocks a widow. He ridicules her. No, I didn't. Commented on her 15-minute televised, I think, scripted performance, and made comments. And I stand by my comments. And I want you all to go look at the video. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section once I post this. Seriously, anyone watching right now, did y'all watch this 15-minute Erika Kirk speech? Y'all see it? I thought it was strange. And the sanitizing of Turning Points USA, can't do it, won't do it. The sanitizing of Charlie Kirk, can't do it, won't do it. The gaslighting of Tyler Robinson and the Gropers, can't do it, won't do it. I predict this will be out of the news by Monday because the right wing controls this country. They control media, control the Supreme Court, the Senate, the House, and the presidency, and everyone bends the knee to them. How often did you all hear about Vance Boulder? Be honest with me. Once we found out that the shooter of Melissa Hortman was a radicalized Trumper, MAGA guy, QAnon guy with a hit list of 70 people, How many times did anybody talk about Vance Bolter? Anyone? 2 days, Jonathan. That's it. Gone. Gone. So this will probably be gone by Monday. But folks, Groypers is a MAGA problem. Groypers is a white nationalist problem. Groypers is a Donald Trump problem, and Groypers is now an American problem. You will be hearing a lot about Groypers and 4chan and Pepe the Frog and Helldivers 2, the video game. I'm sorry, but this is where we are because this is online radicalization. Um, it's going to be wild. And Epstein's not going to go away. Epstein's not going to go away. So they're going to distract, but they can't because of Epstein files. They'll distract from the economy, but they can't. Inflation. They're going to try to distract from all the civil liberties violations, but they can't because more violence. ICE is going to end up beating up and threatening more people. They're going to try to distract. It's going to be more mass shootings. They just cannot distract. Groypers. All right. For those who don't know, real quick. A lot of people are like, what the hell are you talking about, Waj? Groypers and Pepe the Frog and all this stuff. Okay, I'll do this one last time today. Tyler Robinson is the suspected shooter who killed Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson, what we know so far, he's a white, straight male, Christian, conservative background, gun enthusiast from a white Christian Trumper family. The bullet engravings that we found out that they talked about today in the presser, and you could tell they had no idea what they were talking about because, well, I'll tell you in a second. But some of the engravings, the things that they found in the engraving were Bella Ciao. All right. Another thing they found is notices bulges. OWO, what's this? Another thing they found is, hey, fascist catch. Another thing they found was, if you read this, you're gay, LMAO. But because they don't understand white supremacy and they refuse to look in the mirror, and as the governor of Utah said, it was one of our own, what they didn't realize, because at first, yesterday, the Wall Street Journal recklessly took some of this information and said, see, it was a transgender, anti-fascist, Antifa lefty. Nope, they misread it. It's not a transgender shooter, it's Tyler Robinson. Groypers, for those who don't know, because people are like, what the hell are you talking about, Groypers? Groypers is a right-wing white nationalist group, oftentimes radicalized online and led by a man called Nick Fuentes. It's a loose network of alt-right figures. Patrick Casey, who heads the white supremacist American Identity Movement, was a lead Groyper. Groypers got into fame, if you will, in the right wing because they used to troll and hound Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA organizers. Why? Because they said that they were sellouts. They weren't right-wing enough. They weren't America first enough. They weren't pro-white enough. They call themselves nativists. They are America first. To them, that means U.S. should close its borders, bar immigrants, they oppose globalism. They promote traditional values. They call themselves your Christian nationalists. They think America is a nation for white Christian men. They hate feminism. They hate LGBTQ plus rights. Many of them are closeted gays. They want America to be purified and to be white and European centric again. Their leader, Nick Fuentes, thinks Hitler is based, right? Their leader, Nick Fuentes, promotes anti-Semitic conspiracies, also Holocaust denier. Their leader, Nick Fuentes, again, bullied and trolled Charlie Kirk and Turning Points USA because they were not right-wing enough. Who did they also troll and bully? Ben Shapiro. They disliked Charlie Kirk. They said he was a globalist. He was pro-Israel. He wasn't America first. He took money from the right-wing elites and the billionaires. And they decided to make their mark by trolling Ben Shapiro, who is Jewish, which is also why they hated him, and Charlie Kirk, and said, no, we're the real America First movement, not you guys. So that's kind of how they made their bones in the right-wing movement. They proliferated online to the point where 2.5 years ago, after Kanye went full anti-Semite, right before he went Nazi, if you all recall, Donald Trump dined with Kanye West. Kanye West brought a guest. Google this right now. Trump, Kanye, Nick Fuentes. Google it right now. Nick Fuentes was a guest with Donald Trump. Nick Fuentes. And everyone's like, I was ringing the alarm because I know these people, right? Like, I've been following this shit for a while. So I was like, whoa. My prediction that white nationalist talking points will go mainstream by 2025, I was off. 2023. Nick Fuentes dined with them. Afterwards, Trump said, I didn't know who it was. It was just a random guy. It was a random guy I didn't know. Everyone then told him who he was, including the ADL, which is very pro-Trump right now. They did this Nick Fuentes Gropers explainer 5 years ago. Trump said, well, I don't know. He has yet to this day he has yet to condemn Nick Fuentes. And I've been asking everyone, every time I get on TV, I try to say, hey, has Donald Trump condemned Nick Fuentes yet? I've been saying it for 2 years, and they always just gaslight and pivot, right? To this day, he hasn't condemned him because the Guardian wrote an article that Trump knew if he condemned Nick Fuentes, he would be what? Pissing off a part of his base. A part of his base. All right. Yesterday, when Nick Fuentes went online, we didn't know the shooter, but if you follow some of my tweets and posts, I said, we don't know who the shooter is, but I wouldn't be surprised if this a radicalized white Trumper, much like the guy who shot Donald Trump. And then if you all saw my post and some of the stuff I've been saying, I said, check it out. Charlie Kirk was hated by the Gropers. They didn't like him at all. Laura Loomer turned on Charlie Kirk a couple of weeks ago, and she deleted her tweet criticizing Charlie Kirk yesterday. Yeah, but we got the screenshots. She said that Charlie Kirk had stabbed Trump in the back for bringing on Dave Smith. Who's Dave Smith? Libertarian comic who was MAGA, but turned on MAGA in the last couple of months and wants to impeach Trump and said he's not America first, and I can't believe he bombed Israel, and him and his group have turned on Trump. So after he turned on Trump, Charlie Kirk's platformed Dave Smith, and then Laura Loomer said, how could you platform this traitor, Dave Smith? Another group that has been pissed off at Charlie Kirk is because MAGA has been radicalized by MAGA. Let me repeat this. MAGA has been radicalized by MAGA. You can find Laura Loomer's tweets on Twitter. It's everywhere. People found them. Some people say, you're not doing enough for the Epstein files. And then recently, he said, release all the Epstein files. And Donald Trump is all up in the Epstein files. We know that because of the Wall Street Journal. Pam Bondi told them back in May, which means when it comes to the Epstein files, it's been a cover-up. It's been a cover-up for the past 4 months. Okay, so that's why I said yesterday, listen, MAGA, you're saying left, 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 left. What happens if it ends up being, I don't know, a radicalized white guy, a Groper? And what did we find out today? It is Tyler Robinson, who most likely is a Groper. The leader of the Gropers, Nick Fuentes, has gone on his show saying to all my followers, if you take up arms, I disavow you. I disown you in the strongest possible terms. That's not what we're about. Yesterday, when Nick Fuentes went live, I went and checked out his stream because I want to see how many people would go on. 200,000 people were on Nick Fuentes' stream yesterday. But they ain't talking about Nick Fuentes or Gropers or the number one domestic terror threat in America, radical right-wing terrorists or white supremacists. Stephen Miller went on TV and talked about the radical left and they. So, folks, this had to get that off my chest. Hope you all are okay. Take care of yourselves. Be kind. Look out for each other because these guys are threatening us, doxing us. There's some other folks who I keep in contact with. We're checking in with each other. We're like, hey, man, I got this one piece of hate mail. Did you get that piece of hate mail? Are you okay? You're okay. All right. Make sure you're safe. So really help each other. They're going after teachers. They're trying to dox anyone. They're going after people in the military. They're going after immigrants. The State Department is now. Pete Hegseth is. I'm not making this up, folks. They're really trying to purge people and go after them. And they have tried to incite hate against the left. And the left means anyone who's against Donald Trump. This is authoritarianism. It's fascism. But if you bend the knee to fascists, if you ban in advance, they win. So we got to throw some sand in the gears. I will probably take the weekend off because I'm tired and I got to spend time with my fam and, I don't know, eat, go work out. Take care of yourself. Well, let's see. I'm getting a lot of hate mail right now. Let's see what I get. Time for you to leave. You aren't welcome here anymore. Go be a maggot in your own country. We're done with people like you. Brad Bringhorst. Thank you, Brad. I get stuff like that all the time. Folks, be kind, be decent, take care of yourself. This is The Left Hook. There's no paywall. If you can't subscribe, please do. Become a free subscriber. If you have a couple bucks, send it my way because I've had a whole bunch of kids. If you can't, all good. Be informed. Take care of yourselves. Be kind. And please, oh please, don't be a fascist and never, ever bend the knee to fascists. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Take care. Good night.